Every great journey begins with silence. Not the silence of emptiness, but the silence of preparation, the quiet space where a dream takes shape before the world can see it. In those early moments, you're not surrounded by applause. You're surrounded by uncertainty, by questions, by long nights, and unreturned calls. This is where the real grind begins. The solitary grind is the furnace where strength is forged, where you realize that no one is coming to save you. And that's exactly why you must build alone. When you decide to build something extraordinary, the first thing you lose is company. People love the idea of success, but they rarely love the process it demands. You'll notice how the crowd gets thinner when the work becomes harder. You'll notice how voices fade when you start saying no to distractions. It's not rejection, it's revelation. The world reveals who truly believes in you, and often the answer is only you. There's a special kind of loneliness that comes from chasing a dream no one else understands. You'll sit with your thoughts while the world sleeps. You'll wonder if you're making the right move. You'll fight battles no one sees, self-doubt, fatigue, and the temptation to quit. But these silent wars are necessary. Every visionary has to go through them because vision by nature is lonely. Most people crave validation before they start. They want someone to tell them it's possible, someone to cheer for them. But the truth is no one can fully understand your vision except you. The solitary grind is about trusting yourself when there is no audience. It's about showing up every single day, even when no one is watching. Because that's when character is built. When you're building something meaningful, the noise around you becomes dangerous. Too many opinions dilute your clarity. Too many voices make you forget your own. That's why isolation isn't a curse, it's a filter. It removes distractions and teaches you to listen to the most important voice. The one inside you that whispers, keep going. The world often glorifies the finish line, but forgets the road that leads there. They see the spotlight, but ignore the sweat. They see success, but not the solitude that built it. The grind that happens in private, the early mornings, the sleepless nights, the failures you hide from everyone, that's what makes the victory real. If you want to build something that lasts, you must learn to walk alone. Solitude is not about being anti-social. It's about being intentional. It's the time where you shape your ideas without interference. It's where you build resilience that no applause can replace. In solitude, you discover your real motivation. Are you doing this for fame, for approval, or because it's what you were born to do? When there's no one to impress, the truth reveals itself. And once you find that truth, you become unstoppable, because purpose outlives validation. Most people never experience real growth because they avoid loneliness. They stay surrounded by comfort, afraid of silence. But silence is where ideas mature. It's where the seed of greatness grows deep roots before it breaks through the soil. You cannot build something extraordinary in the comfort of company. When everyone agrees with you, you're probably building something ordinary. The solitary grind strips away approval and forces you to rely on conviction. That's how builders are born. At some point, you'll look around and realize you've lost friends, parties, and simple pleasures. And in that moment, you'll be tempted to question if it's worth it. The answer lies not in what you've lost, but in what you're becoming. You're building discipline, endurance, focus, the qualities that separate dreamers from doers. The grind is not glamorous. It's messy, repetitive, and often thankless. But that's what makes it sacred. Every day you choose to work when you don't feel like it, you're chiseling your future from stone. There's a difference between being lonely and being alone. Loneliness is when you crave company. Being alone is when you choose peace over noise. Builders choose the second. They find clarity in the quiet. They find answers in the silence that others run from. Every visionary must go through a period of misunderstanding. People will think you've changed. Some will call you arrogant. Others will say you're obsessed. But obsession is the price of impact. You can't build something the world has never seen if you live like everyone else. When you build alone, every mistake hits harder, but every victory feels deeper. You learn accountability. You learn to take full responsibility for your progress. You stop blaming circumstances and start building solutions. That's where maturity begins. The solitary grind also teaches humility. It reminds you that no one owes you support, applause, or understanding. You owe yourself persistence. The world rewards results, not effort, and that realization humbles you into working smarter, not louder. Isolation sharpens your instincts. When there's no one to guide you, you learn to trust your intuition. You begin to see patterns others miss. You start anticipating obstacles instead of reacting to them. That's how true leadership is born, not in crowds, but in quiet rooms. Every empire starts as an idea in someone's head, an idea that sounds crazy to others. That's why the early stage is always lonely. The builder sees a future that doesn't exist yet, while everyone else sees delusion. The difference between both is time and persistence. In solitude, you stop chasing trends and start building principles. You stop comparing your journey to others. You realize success is not about speed, it's about direction. 1,000 steps in the wrong direction mean nothing. One steady step forward every day builds destiny. When you're surrounded by people, your vision bends to please them. When you're alone, your vision becomes pure. You start making decisions based on purpose, not popularity. That's when your work begins to align with your calling. The grind demands discipline. Discipline is not about doing big things once. It's about doing small things daily, even when no one notices. It's waking up early, learning new skills, making mistakes, fixing them, and repeating. Discipline turns isolation into momentum. There will be days when you question everything, your decisions, your path, your worth. But remember, confusion is part of transformation. You're shedding old beliefs and building a new mindset. That discomfort means progress. Most people fail because they quit during their lonely seasons. They confuse silence with failure. But silence is not failure, it's preparation. The world may not hear your progress, but one day they'll feel your results. Solitude forces you to face your weaknesses. There's no one to blame, no one to hide behind. You realize your excuses, your fears, your laziness, and then you either fix them or fail. This confrontation builds the version of you that can carry the weight of success later. When you're building alone, your results become your language. You stop talking about plans and start showing outcomes. Words lose power and action becomes your only form of communication. That's the language successful people speak. The solitary grind filters your environment. Those who truly believe in you will stay, not with words, but with quiet support. And those who were just curious will disappear. Both are gifts. One fuels your journey, the other clears your path. You'll realize that isolation is not forever. It's a season of construction. When you finish building the foundation, people will see the structure. But if you skip the lonely phase, the building will collapse under pressure later. The grind teaches patience. When no one believes in you, patience keeps you calm. When results take longer, patience keeps you consistent. When others quit, patience keeps you building. Patience is the unseen muscle that holds everything together. The beauty of building alone is that you grow in silence. No one sees your practice, your failures, your experiments. They only see the transformation. That mystery gives your success power because it cannot be explained, only respected. Every time you feel invisible, remind yourself diamonds are formed in darkness. The pressure you're under is shaping something extraordinary. Don't rush the process. Greatness takes time, and time always rewards those who persist. You must learn to love the process more than the praise. Praise fades, but mastery remains. The grind in solitude develops mastery, the deep understanding that turns skill into art and effort into excellence. The more you grow, the less you need validation. You realize that your worth is not determined by attention, but by contribution. You stop chasing recognition and start focusing on impact. That's when you truly elevate. Every successful builder eventually learns that solitude is a phase, not a punishment. It's the universe's way of preparing you for leadership. If you can't handle silence, you can't handle the noise of success either. The grind strips you of comfort, but gives you clarity. It removes distractions, but gives you direction. It tests your limits, but expands your potential. That's why solitude is sacred. It's not where you lose yourself. It's where you find yourself. As you keep building, people will eventually notice. The same ones who doubted you will call you lucky. But you'll know, luck had nothing to do with it. It was persistence, patience, and the power of the solitary grind. When you finally succeed, don't forget the nights of silence that built your strength. Don't forget the mornings where you had to motivate yourself. Those were the moments that defined you more than any applause ever could. There's an invisible transformation that happens in solitude. You stop seeking external fuel and start generating your own energy. You become self-motivated, self-sustained, and self-directed. That independence is the ultimate freedom. When you build alone, your foundation becomes unshakable. You're not leaning on others to keep you stable. You stand tall because you've trained yourself to endure. That's what makes your success immune to storms. Remember this truth: the grind doesn't isolate you. It refines you. It takes away the unnecessary and leaves only the essential. It teaches you to be efficient, focused, and fearless. The solitary grind is where dreamers evolve into doers. It's where fantasies turn into blueprints and blueprints turn into empires. The world may not see your effort, but every step you take alone brings you closer to something timeless. At the end of the day, you'll realize that solitude was never your enemy. It was your greatest ally. It gave you time, peace, and power. It gave you the space to build something that will speak for generations. Those who avoid solitude will forever depend on others for motivation. But those who embrace it will never run out of it. Their fire burns from within. Their confidence comes from experience, not approval. The solitary grind isn't about isolation from people. It's about connection to purpose. It's the period where you learn to walk by faith, not feedback. When your purpose becomes your partner, you'll never walk alone again. Building alone prepares you for the world that once ignored you. It gives you humility to handle success and resilience to face new challenges. That's why the strongest people often come from silent beginnings. So if you're grinding alone today, don't complain. Don't rush. Don't doubt. This is your training ground. You are building something powerful in the dark, and when it's ready, the light will find you. That's the beauty of the solitary grind. It rewards those who endure, not those who escape.